What are you watching this week? Hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. B with Ready Set Grow, and on this channel, my goal is to share tips to help you on your financial and trading journey. If you're new here, like and subscribe. Be sure to check the description for some valuable resources. Today, I'm going to be sharing a few tickers that I am watching this week. The first ticker I'm going to keep an eye out on is BBY. BBY is in an 11-dot squeeze on the weekly time frame. It already fired short on the 4-hour time frame, and I actually traded that this week. I actually called it on voice over in our Discord server, and several members were able to make some really good gains on BBY when it fired short on the 4-hour. So I am confident in entering it again once it fires shorts on the daily time frame. It has aligned histograms across the various time frames, and the EMAs are stacked negative on all the time frames that I trade. If we look at the weekly chart for BBY, we see that the EMAs are stacked negative. It is trading right beneath the 8 EMA, which is an ideal entry. However, an even better entry would be a return to the 8 or 21 and then short it back down. Looking at the regular TTM squeeze, we can see that BBY has already fired short for 2 bars, but it has not fired short on the Squeeze Pro. This means there could be some additional bearish momentum building up. The histograms are bearish and pointed downward. The TTM wave is pointed downward, and we can see that that momentum is decreasing. And if you use the MACD as part of one of your indicators, you can see that the MACD crossed negative a while back. I will be looking for BBY to fire short this week, and if it does, as long as this structure holds, meaning the EMAs are still stacked negative, the histograms are still bearish, the TTM wave is bearish, then I would consider a trade on BBY. If the structure does not hold, let's say it bounces and the EMAs are no longer stacked, then I won't take a trade on it. I typically enter the trade once it has fired, so if BBY does not fire, I will not take a trade. But you can start building a position while it's in a squeeze. I prefer to take them once they fire from the squeeze. Okay, so I ran my same scan on the daily time frame. The scan I'm using is a 5-dot Squeeze Pro scan and looking at tickers that have negative histograms that are aligned. As you can see, there are quite a number of tickers that show up in the scan results, and all of them meet criteria for a short trade as long as the conditions hold. You might be wondering, well, how do you narrow this down? Because you can't take a trade on every single one of them. One way you could narrow this down is by selecting tickers that have a higher ATR. You can use ATR to filter out some of these tickers. For example, I see that ARKG only has an ATR of $1.78. I can disregard this one because it has such a small ATR. I probably would have a better chance of making higher profits on something with a larger ATR. So that's how you can use ATR to help you narrow the results. Another way you can filter is by looking at how the ticker is trading in relation to the 8 or 21 EMA. So if it's far extended from the 8 EMA, then you can go ahead and disregard it. And lastly, you can filter this out by experience. For example, I know EXAS usually has terrible spreads, so I won't even consider it. I know IRBT normally has really wide spreads, or it moves super slow and very difficult to get filled when you're exiting. So you can use some of your background knowledge and experience in trading these tickers to help you filter which ones to pay attention to. I am most interested in SNO on this time frame. It has an 8-dot squeeze on the daily, 33-dot squeeze on the 4-hour, has already fired short on 2 of the smaller time frames. All of the histograms are red, so that's bearish, and all of the time frames are stacked negative. Looking at the daily chart for SNO, you can see that those EMAs are stacked negative. It's trading right beneath the 8 EMA. It's not too far extended from it. Looking at those histograms, I already told you they were bearish. They are red and pointed downward. TTM wave is cyan and pointed downward, which indicates strong bearish. If SNO happens to fire short this week, I'm going to be looking to take a position on it. Lastly, I'm going to be watching 3M. 3M has a 62-dot squeeze on the daily. It has already fired short on the 4-hour and 2-hour. I've been watching this ticker for a number of days waiting for it to fire. It has histograms that are all bearish, and the EMAs are stacked negative across multiple time frames. Looking at the daily chart for 3M, you can see that those EMAs are stacked negative. It is a bit extended from the 8 EMA, so I'm hoping for a bounce back toward the 8 or 21 for an ideal entry. Looking at the histograms, you can see that it fired short on the regular squeeze and the histogram is bearish. It is still in a squeeze on the Squeeze Pro, and the histogram is bearish there as well. The TTM wave is cyan and pointed downward, and that's bearish. And if you care about the MACD, it has already crossed negative. I will be watching to see if 3M fires short, and also to see if it makes a return to the 8 EMA so that I don't enter while it's so far extended. As you can see, I look for confluence among the tickers across multiple time frames to give me a higher probability of success on a trade. If the market opens and I no longer see the confluence, then I will disregard the trade. The key to being successful is watching to see if the structure holds once the market opens. Once the market opens, if everything remains intact and the structure is holding, I enter. If the market opens and everything's all over the place, the EMAs are no longer stacked, the histograms are no longer aligned, then I don't enter the trade. What are you watching this week? Leave me a comment below, let me know so I can check out some of your tickers. If you enjoyed this video and like my content, make sure you subscribe. Be sure to check out my private Discord. The link is located in the description. Thank you for watching. See you next time.